Welcome to Soaps.com. I'm Kristen Burt. I know everyone is invested in this kidnapping storyline with Sharon and Phyllis, and we are so excited to have Michelle Stafford and Sharon Case with us today. Hello.
Hey.
I have to get started with this because this has been so much fun to watch because we know that the Sharon and Phyllis rivalry has been iconic for years. So for both of you, how does it feel to take that dynamic to such an intense situation?
Well, I'm glad that it's back. Michelle and I worked together in the Sharon and Phyllis Nick triangle. It was a long time ago. We haven't done that really or played into that in a while, but that's normal. We put other triangles and storylines forward. So, we've shifted back to this. And I'm really happy that we did because it's fun for both of us and it's old school for both of us. So we can, just sort of slide right back into it again.
I agree. And I also think that, the story of Heather's murder, it was the only way, like, this is a really good way for them to find a way to work out the discord between the characters, because really, I think that it would have been really hard for Phyllis, like impossible for Phyllis to get over all of that, even though Sharon was drugged. I think like that was a big ask of a Phyllis, for the Phyllis character. So I'm really glad we did this to repair the relationship. It makes sense to me.
That's what I'm really curious about because we're watching right now in real time. The two of them handle the situation very differently. Sharon, for you, this is old hat, like kidnapping, no big deal. You do this all the time.
I know these ropes. So yeah, that's kind of fun that there's just a little bit of a feeling that you get that Sharon kind of knows these ropes and, is a little more calm, or maybe in that regard, leading Phyllis, toward, I don't know, towards somehow getting out of there, because Sharon's gotten out of these situations before. But, I do think, like you were saying, Michelle, the conflict that Sharon and Phyllis have right now was Heather's death, whereas before it was Nick. Now that old wound is still there, but it's not. Bringing the Sharon and Phyllis conflict back didn't involve necessarily being about Nick. We have a new conflict, and that's Heather's death. And now add to it, we are trapped in a room together. So that's a good obstacle for them as well. So I love all these new conflicts and obstacles for them.
Phyllis is known as such a fighter. So this is kind of interesting because Sharon's like, well, I get kidnapped all the time. I can handle this. How about for you diving into like Phyllis's state of mind in all of this, how she's handling the crisis?
Well, it's funny because I think I voiced this to Sharon when we were doing it. I thought it would be very interesting if Phyllis was the one who just fell apart and rolled up in a ball, and Sharon was the one who actually was a strong one, right? I thought that would have been really interesting. But Sharon and I like took, every show is different. Like sometimes Sharon's the one who's like, get your shit, get it together, let's go. And sometimes Phyllis is the one. So I like that. It really, this story goes, there's a lot of this up and down.
Yeah, they take turns. One day one of them is very strong and determined and the other one's not. And so each episode, it, does flip back and forth. It keeps it very interesting. And it makes sense that, anybody would go through those ups and downs in this kind of situation. And all of it leads them in a direction, and it leads the relationship in a direction while they're trying to get out of their captivity. The relationship goes through a lot and really changes, and in the end it lands somewhere.
And as you're saying, this is adding layers. It's Nick, it's Heather. Now you have the kidnapper. Does playing out these scenes give you new perspective on your characters and the dynamic that the two of you have together? Because are you able to see each other differently through a different lens now?
I think it gives us new perspective on this relationship mainly. I'm not so much on my character, but definitely there's a new perspective on this relationship, which is so great. I just feel like that's like people have to evolve and relationships have to change just in life, right? And so I like that there's a change in it. I like it.
Do you think that this is moving toward a temporary truce between you guys just to get yourself out of the situation and then we'll
We'll
do that?
we'll see. We don't want to give anything away, right, Sharon?
Right? We can't give anything away, but in soaps, things are always changing and they move up and down and ebb and flow. And so that's that motion is what's happening in this relationship now. And I just think it's a really fun relationship to watch, to bring it back and give us a new obstacle and reason to be fighting each other or fighting to win over this this captivity they're in. They're trying to solve that together. I mean, it's a great idea to bring these two back because they're fun to watch. They've been on the show for ever decades. These characters, you know how their relationship has been like really spicy over the decades, so it's a really fun relationship to come back to because there's just so much history and they are just oil and water together. So you always wonder, are these two gonna ever mix? Is this finally gonna happen this time? Yeah, it's fun to watch that. It's fun to get the scripts and read it and wonder, which direction are they going with these characters today. It's fun for us.
And the kidnapper, will his motivations become clearer as the situation progresses?
We learn tiny bits each day, but yeah, little clues come forward. But like someone online called it's sort of an escape room. It kind of is. And in that situation, you learn new pieces to the puzzle every day.
I'm terrible in escape room. I was just thinking that if I had to get out, I'd be stuck in there for
me too. I did one. I had so much fun though, even though, me and my group got out of room 1, but we didn't get ultimately out of the second room. But it's so fun. The great thing about it is the working together, how you all of a sudden come together and must share information and help each other. And it's really fun. And that does remind me of Sharon and Phyllis' situation in this room.
Well, and I love to see the push-pull between you two on screen because it's one of those things like, the cuddle on the couch that we saw in the episode. It's like, we love each other. No, we don't.
That was so fun to shoot that. Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh, laughing. We should be so snuggly. We should be so snuggly.
Are there other lighthearted moments that you filmed or maybe that or that you really enjoyed between them?
Yeah,
because it can't just be a bunch of it. There's some funny moments. I mean, I hope they're funny. I hope they come out funny. Right.
So far, that one worked, right, Michelle?
That one worked.
Or just even seeing the moments of like trying to work out, like, okay, our chocolate fountain fight, let's work that out. Okay, no, wait, we've worked it out, but now I'm still mad at you, or I still have issues with you.
Right. Because almost like and there is well, I won't get that way, but there's you sometimes like your anger towards somebody, it's the thing that you have like it's a thing that like everybody wants to feel like they did the right thing and they're right about their fight. Like they don't want to be the one who's wrong. And I think like there's a lot of power in that. And, to kind of give that up, that's not overnight, that it sort of like evolves. You have to kind of have your own realizations, their life realizations. And I think that's what they're having.
And it's sweet to see those little moments of like softening or a thawing, and then the wall goes back up. Like the doors open just a little and now it's shut.
Yeah. I enjoyed that about it too. That's the genius in the writing of this whole progression. Is it's so well written and put together. Josh Griffith did such a great job, like just like what you said, with these nuances of little thaws and warming, and then 2 minutes later the walls go back up again for some other reason. That it was very detailed writing, and it was a lot for Michelle and I to put together every day, another episode of all of this. It was a lot to memorize, a lot to do, but boy, she and I were up for it. I feel really happy with what we did. I couldn't wait for this to air for the audience to see this because I'm really happy about it. And I couldn't imagine doing that with anybody else. Michelle just gets it. You know, she's game for anything. This is the script we're given that day, and there's all these different nuances and changes in it. She's right there.
Yeah, well, I say the same for you. I say the same for you. And you're very easily changed, you know, like if Sharon has an idea and someone offers some other way to go, Sharon just does that. That's very, very important, I feel, for someone who it's a collaborative art, right? And when people are like so stuck to their own vision of how it should be, that's tough sometimes. And Sharon just goes with it. You know, she even says, okay, today Sharon's doing blah. And that's it's awesome. It's awesome to work with someone like that. It's awesome to work with Sharon. You know, it's like it just makes it more creative when you're open for anything.
Yeah, and when you're working, I love working with you this because these scenes, this whole progression has a lot of drama and a lot of comedy, and these beats are like there's many of them in each script, and you can do both of those so well. I mean, the comedy beats, you really got that down. I can just follow your lead on that, like the step on the sofa. When we shot Sharon and Phyllis sleeping on the sofa. Michelle had an idea. She's just sprawled out on the sofa, and I'm like, okay, let me just find my way in here somehow. And it
To the
turned out
spoon, you're the
hilarious.
little spoon.
She knew what she wanted to do, and I was like,
Another
good,
spooning.
good. I'll just jump in there. I'm glad. I love how she can just take the lead like that and gets it and can really make it funny. And you know, this is a little off the subject, but I'll tell you something else about Michelle. That I noticed I'm working with her, you know, I'm staring at her in the face every day for weeks shooting every morning, which I'm a monster at that point. Michelle has the most amazing skin. And I wanted to say that because, you know, I
Oh,
was
that's
thinking that
nice.
you know, you never say, but then I'm like, wait a minute, Michelle's actually has a great skincare line. I remember she's always promoting it.
Listen
And
to Sharon Case.
finally I put two and two together. I'm like, you know what? I got to mention this because I mean, I guess I just never really paid as much attention, but working with Michelle that closely for that many weeks, she is flawless looking. Sure,
Oh
her
my
skin
God.
is
Sharon,
amazing. I'm sorry it's off the subject of the
you're
storyline, but I had
awesome.
to say it.
Oh my God. I didn't even pay her for that, by the way.
No,
You should all know.
no,
That's
I
really
feel
nice.
bad for
Well,
taking time
listen,
away from the storyline, but I had to say that about Michelle because it's
well, I
another
mean,
great thing.
this is just you're like sitting there, Kristen, like, oh my gosh, these girls. No, I return that. You have an amazing skin and are fantastic. Sharon, I mean, that goes without saying. Sharon looks like she's 25 years old and that she's never aged. We all think so. We all think so. She's like
I
20.
love that we're getting skincare tips on all of
Right,
this.
like
Yeah, right.
put
Oh no,
us
but yeah, we
together
talked
and we
about
will
it.
start girl talking.
Well, I
Sorry.
mean, we talked about skin. That's what girls do.
Yeah,
Um,
talk about
but
everything.
but wait, but we were so up in each other for like
Yeah,
3 weeks. And dare
really,
I
really.
say, Sharon, dare I say, like I think that they were happy with how it turned out. Like they kept on coming down, all the powers that be
Yeah,
kept on coming down to the set,
they did.
all aglow and all happy.
I
And
noticed that.
you know, because you never know how something's going to work out.
Yeah.
You know, you never know. So I think and I hope that it will be well received by the audience. But yeah, so
But if we had fun and our crew's having fun and our top brass
something's
keeps coming
going
on
on.
down to stage to all happy, I mean, it would have to translate into the viewers loving it as well. If all of us are having that much fun with it, and you're right, and that did make us feel really good. The top brass would come down and they were all aglow. And in fact, recently, one of them came and told me, you know, there's a kind of like a finale or more of a final episode of this long progression, and they had completed it, the editing, and saw it, and they're floored. They love it, and I'm like, oh, thank God, because I do remember one scene there towards the end. You know that one, Michelle.
Oh, can we
That
just
was
say,
so
we won't tell
hard.
you what it is, but Sharon and I did that in one take.
One take. And
We did that in one take. We
yeah,
also
like the
did,
chocolate fountain. We had to do it in one take.
we had to do it in one. This is another one similar to that, where if we screwed up, listen, I mean, like self-aggrandizement. Why not? You know, toot your own horn. What's a horn for?
You guys are the
But-
one take wonders. You're the dream
Well,
team.
no, I mean, we were so nervous too. I
Yeah.
mean, we're telling you this story because you'll see it
Yeah.
next week or the week after. And it's sort of, yeah, it's like we were so nervous and we had to do that thing in one take. We could have done it in a second, but it would have been horrific.
It's a big scene. It's very long. There's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of activity in it. We rehearsed it over and over because we knew this is like the chocolate fight. We have one take, but we're going to nail it. Yes, we were nervous. And I mean, Michelle and I have been there, done that before with the chocolate fountain. So I sense her nerves and she probably mine. And, you know, we're just like buzzing together. And finally, when it's time to go, I'm like, you know what? I said this and I'll say it now. This is going to be grand. This is going to be great. We're gonna.
Sharon has a lot of confidence. Like she can like see that. Like she's like, this is going to be amazing. And like she like things about the story. I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. She's like, this story is going to be great. Like Sharon's very good at that. She's very
Keeps you grounded. I like that though. Keeps you grounded in the story, what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you can be. I'm not always feeling that way with every scene I shoot or story I do, but in these most difficult ones, like the one we're talking about now, and also with the chocolate fight, I said to Michelle several times, and I'll say it again, you know, that scene, it's the kind of scene that you really have to have control over it. You have to own that. It can't own you. And we did. We had control over that. And that's why it turned out so amazing. And afterwards, we're elated. We can't believe we just achieved something like that. I mean, it's almost impossible when you read it on paper. We're like, oh my God, really? How? I hope we get it. And we did.
It was your soap Olympics. That's what it was.
It was soap Olympics. It was.
I love that. Well, it was a delight to speak with both of you. I'm so excited to watch this whole storyline play out because the dynamic between obviously Phyllis and Sharon is just, it's so sweet to watch.
I'm glad you like it.
Yes, congratulations. And thanks for stopping by today.
Thanks for
having
us.
us.